If you look at people who consistently accomplish great things, people who seem to have a knack for making progress in any area, whether it's in their careers, their relationships, their health, or even their personal growth, you start to notice a pattern. There's something under the surface. It's not usually a matter of luck or talent alone, though sometimes they'll have a little of both. What it really boils down to is this: the habits they build, nurture, and rely on day in and day out. These are the core practices, the actions that form the foundation for everything else in their lives. I'm talking about the actions that are so much a part of who they are that they no longer have to think about them. These habits become second nature. And in a way, that's what makes them so powerful. You see, once a behavior is ingrained, it's not an effort to maintain. You don't have to decide to do it every single day. It just happens. And that frees up time, energy, and focus for more significant things. So the journey to becoming highly effective begins with choosing these habits consciously, carefully, and deliberately. I want to talk about the habits that I've seen just about every highly effective person practice, time and time again. These are the habits that, when followed with consistency, create a kind of momentum that nothing can stop. Now, you might already practice a few of these. Others might be new. But my advice is this: take one at a time and make it your own. Make it a part of who you are, until each habit becomes as natural as breathing. The first habit of highly effective people is clarity of purpose. Purpose acts like a North Star. Those who accomplish great things rarely do so by accident. They have a deep understanding of what they want and why it matters to them. With this clarity, they're able to make consistent progress, even when life gets complicated. Clarity of purpose means there's no confusion or ambiguity about what they're working toward. It's the core that drives them forward, helping them to ignore distractions and stay committed, regardless of challenges. People with a clear purpose don't make decisions based on fleeting emotions or the opinions of others. Instead, they let their purpose guide them, serving as an internal compass that keeps them on track. When challenges come, and they will come, their purpose grounds them. Imagine you're climbing a mountain, and halfway up, you're hit by a storm. If your goal is just to reach the top for the sake of it, that storm may convince you to turn back. But if you're climbing to prove something to yourself, to reach a life goal, or to make a meaningful difference, that purpose will push you through the hardest moments. There's a powerful simplicity in knowing what truly matters to you. When you do, you can filter out distractions. You become far more resilient and less likely to abandon your goals when things don't go smoothly. Clarity of purpose allows highly effective people to channel their energy into the things that count, cutting out the clutter, the busy work, and the detours that can drain a person's energy and enthusiasm. Many people spend their lives in search of purpose, but the truth is, it doesn't always show up in a flash. Sometimes it's a journey, a process of reflection, of trying different paths, and of learning what resonates deeply. Consider a craftsman working on a piece of wood, carving carefully to reveal the beauty hidden inside. Purpose often emerges that way, a layer at a time, as you ask yourself important questions. What drives me? What brings me joy or fulfillment? But don't stop there. Keep digging, asking why each of those things matter. That why reveals the core, the purpose behind the passion. Years ago, a young man asked for advice on finding direction in his life. He was full of energy but felt scattered, trying different jobs and interests without any real satisfaction. I suggested that instead of focusing on what he wanted to do, he should ask why he wanted it. Purpose isn't always about a job or a position. It's about what you want to create or contribute. It's a unique combination of your skills, passions, and values. When you define it clearly, every step you take brings you closer to something meaningful. Once you know your purpose, protect it. Use it as a foundation to evaluate new opportunities. If something doesn't align with that purpose, it's easier to say no. Clarity gives you the ability to prioritize, to move confidently, and to avoid distractions that only lead you away from your goal. Highly effective people stay committed to this sense of purpose, making it the standard by which they judge their actions and goals. Take time to define yours. Even a single sentence, something simple, can carry incredible weight. Write it down. Let it become a natural part of how you think and act, a core principle you turn to when you're uncertain. Purpose clarifies decisions, strengthens resolve, and keeps you moving forward when others might quit. Next, the second habit of highly effective people is focus on priorities. Highly effective individuals have the ability to sort through tasks, activities, and goals, zeroing in on what matters most. They don't scatter their time and energy in all directions. They aim it with precision. With the myriad of demands pulling at them daily, they know how to differentiate between what's urgent and what's truly important. This focus on priorities allows them to make steady progress toward their goals without getting sidetracked by the noise. Imagine a powerful magnifying glass focusing sunlight. When the light is concentrated on a single point, it generates enough heat to start a fire. But if that same light is spread out, it loses its power. Highly effective people operate with that same concentrated focus. Instead of jumping from one thing to another, they make deliberate choices about where to apply their efforts. They understand that if they try to do everything, they end up doing very little well. By focusing on the few things that matter most, they amplify their results. In every area of life, from business to personal growth, prioritization is crucial. But knowing what to prioritize isn't always straightforward. It requires an understanding of what you truly value and a willingness to say no to things that don't align with those values. Effective people understand that their time is finite. Each day has only so many hours, and they make deliberate choices about how to spend them. When faced with multiple demands, they ask themselves, is this essential? Will it move me closer to my goals? If the answer is no, they're willing to delegate, postpone, or remove that task altogether. One of the most powerful tools for establishing priorities is goal setting. By defining clear, specific goals, you create a roadmap that makes prioritization easier. Without clear goals, everything can seem equally important. But when you know exactly what you want to achieve, it's easier to decide which tasks will help you get there. Highly effective people use their goals as a guide for deciding where to invest their time and energy. Now, focus on priorities also involves the discipline to work on these priorities consistently. Effective people don't just create a to-do list. They commit to working on their top priorities daily, making steady progress even if it's small. Think about it. If you were to make just a 1% improvement in a critical area each day, by the end of the year, that improvement would be massive. Consistent focus compounds over time, leading to results that others might think were impossible. Years ago, I met a business owner struggling to expand his company. He was constantly busy but couldn't seem to make progress. After talking with him, it became clear he was focusing on minor tasks and low-impact activities. Once he shifted his focus to the key actions that generated the most results, such as building relationships with clients and refining his product, his business began to thrive. It wasn't about working more hours. It was about working on the right things. To cultivate this habit in your own life, Start by identifying your highest priorities and aligning them with your goals. Break these priorities down into manageable actions, and each day, commit to working on at least one of them. Make time for what truly matters, even if it means letting go of lower priority tasks. When you concentrate on what moves the needle, your results will reflect that focused effort. Next, the third habit of highly effective people is relentless self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. This habit is at the core of every successful endeavor, because it's not motivation that keeps people going day after day. It's discipline. Motivation might get you started, but it's discipline that sees you through to the end. Highly effective people understand this, and they make self-discipline a part of their daily lives. It's about creating routines and sticking to them, forming habits that serve them, and staying committed even when it would be easier to quit. Self-discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Think of it like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. In the beginning, it might feel challenging, but over time, it becomes easier. And as you develop self-discipline, you build trust in yourself. You begin to know deep down that you'll do what you say you're going to do. This self-trust is essential because it gives you the confidence to take on new challenges, knowing you have the discipline to see them through. Highly effective people practice self-discipline in both small and big ways. It starts with the little things: waking up on time, following through on commitments, sticking to a schedule. When you consistently practice discipline in these small areas, it becomes easier to apply that same discipline to the bigger challenges. These small acts of discipline compound over time, creating a foundation that makes tackling larger goals feel more manageable. Take, for example, someone training for a marathon. They don't start by running 26 miles on the first day. They start small, maybe with a mile or two, and gradually build their stamina through disciplined training. Each day they push a little further, and before long, running longer distances becomes second nature. In the same way, self-discipline in our daily habits prepares us to handle the larger challenges that life throws our way. But here's an important thing to remember. Self-discipline isn't about perfection. Highly effective people understand that discipline is a practice, not an end state. There will be days when you miss the mark, but that doesn't mean you give up. Effective people know that the key is getting back on track, recommitting to their goals, and moving forward. Discipline isn't about never slipping. It's about getting up and going again, even when you stumble. One of the biggest benefits of self-discipline is that it reduces decision fatigue. When you've established disciplined routines, you don't waste energy deciding whether or not to do something. It's already decided. There's no internal debate. You simply do it. This mental clarity allows you to use your energy and willpower more effectively, focusing on what matters without getting bogged down by indecision. I knew an entrepreneur who used discipline as his secret weapon. He would wake up at the same time every day, exercise, meditate, and then dive into his work. Self-discipline is especially important when the initial excitement fades. It's easy to start a new project or a new habit with enthusiasm, but the real test comes later, when things get tough. This is when discipline is crucial. Highly effective people know how to keep going, even when they don't feel like it. They stick to their routines, honor their commitments, and remain focused on their goals. Their success isn't a result of occasional bursts of effort. It's the cumulative result of consistent, disciplined action over time. To build this habit in your life, start with small acts of self-discipline. Pick one area where you want to improve and make a commitment to stick to it daily. It could be as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier, setting aside 10 minutes for reading, or dedicating time to a personal goal. As you build momentum, you'll find that discipline becomes easier, and you'll be ready to tackle larger challenges. Over time, this relentless self-discipline will become the foundation for achieving your biggest dreams. Next, the fourth habit of highly effective people is continuous learning. Highly effective people know that learning doesn't end when they leave school or earn a degree. In fact, they understand that the most valuable learning often begins outside the classroom. Continuous learning is the commitment to keep growing, evolving, and expanding one's mind. It's the understanding that knowledge is never static. It's always evolving. And the more we learn, the better equipped we are to handle life's challenges and seize its opportunities. People who dedicate themselves to learning are like sponges, constantly absorbing new ideas, perspectives, and skills. They read, they listen, they ask questions. They surround themselves with people who can teach them something, knowing that each conversation, each book, each new experience has the potential to reveal a piece of wisdom that could change their life. This habit of continuous learning is about staying curious, staying humble, and recognizing that there's always something new to discover. Continuous learners don't just wait for knowledge to come to them. They seek it out, actively looking for ways to improve themselves. They make a habit of setting aside time each day or week to invest in themselves, to keep feeding the mind. Years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting a gentleman who was very successful in business. But he wasn't satisfied with what he already knew. Every morning, without fail, he would spend an hour reading books on philosophy, economics, history, anything that would expand his perspective and understanding of the world. He often said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much there is to learn." His success, he believed, was directly tied to his commitment to learning. And even after achieving so much, he never stopped. Continuous learning isn't limited to reading and formal education. Highly effective people learn from life itself. They observe, they reflect, and they learn from their experiences. They aren't afraid to fail because they know failure is one of the greatest teachers. Each setback, each mistake offers a lesson if you're willing to look for it. Highly effective people are skilled at extracting these lessons, understanding what went wrong, and adjusting their approach. Effective people also understand that learning is a powerful antidote to complacency. When you're committed to growth, you're constantly pushing the boundaries of what you know and can do. This habit of learning keeps them flexible and adaptable, able to navigate a world that's always changing. They recognize that standing still is a risk because the world moves forward. They see learning not only as a way to stay relevant, but as a way to remain fully engaged in life. Now, here's how you can build this habit. Start by dedicating a small block of time each day to learning. It doesn't have to be hours. Even 15 minutes can make a difference over time. It's the daily practice that builds the habit. Take a few moments at the end of each day to ask yourself, what did I learn today? Reflect on conversations, experiences, and decisions you made. Even if you only learned one small thing, acknowledge it and think about how you might apply it in the future. Over time, this habit of reflection enhances your ability to learn from everything around you. Next, the fifth habit of highly effective people is proactive problem solving. Highly effective individuals don't wait for problems to find them. They actively anticipate and tackle potential issues before they become obstacles. Rather than reacting to situations as they unfold, they develop the mindset of identifying challenges early and taking steps to address them. This proactive approach not only prevents minor issues from becoming major setbacks, but also empowers them to move forward with confidence, knowing they have the tools to handle whatever comes their way. Proactive problem solving starts with awareness. Effective people pay attention to the details and watch for early signs of trouble. They understand that small issues left unchecked can compound over time. They take the time to assess their circumstances, recognize patterns, and identify potential risks in advance. In business, relationships, or personal goals, this habit of vigilance enables them to prevent problems before they escalate. Proactivity isn't about worrying over every possible scenario. It's about preparing for realistic ones. Effective problem solvers are not paralyzed by what-ifs. They know that not everything can be anticipated, but they recognize the value of having a strategy in place. When faced with a decision, they often ask themselves, what could go wrong here? And what can I do now to mitigate that risk? By asking these questions, they gain a broader view of the situation and reduce the likelihood of being blindsided by unexpected challenges. I had a friend who always kept a close eye on his finances. Rather than waiting for cash flow issues to arise, he would regularly review his budget and adjust as needed. By tracking trends and patterns, he could spot potential slowdowns early and make proactive decisions to safeguard his company's stability. When a market downturn eventually hit, his business survived while others struggled, simply because he had planned ahead. He hadn't predicted the exact timing or details of the challenge, but his proactive mindset gave him the flexibility to respond effectively. This proactive problem-solving habit also applies to personal development. Highly effective people don't wait until they reach a breaking point to improve their skills or address weaknesses. They invest in personal growth continuously, strengthening their resilience and adaptability before they're tested. They recognize that life will present its share of unexpected challenges, and by building their skills proactively, they're better prepared to handle whatever comes their way. Another essential part of proactive problem solving is adaptability. Effective people know that even the best laid plans don't always go as expected. They maintain a flexible approach, adjusting their strategies and recalibrating their plans as new information arises. This flexibility allows them to respond to changes in a constructive way, rather than being thrown off course. They ask themselves, what's the next best step given these new circumstances? By being adaptable, they turn problems into opportunities and setbacks into learning experiences. Building this habit in your life starts with cultivating a problem-solving mindset. Make it a habit to regularly assess your goals, projects, and responsibilities. Identify potential obstacles and consider ways to address them before they escalate. Don't be afraid to ask tough questions or to confront uncomfortable truths. Sometimes the most effective solutions come from addressing issues head-on rather than avoiding them. Another helpful approach is to look at your past experiences. Reflect on challenges you've faced and consider how you could have handled them more proactively. What warning signs were there? What could you have done differently? Learning from past experiences helps you recognize patterns and improve your problem-solving approach in the future. Stay open to feedback and other perspectives. Sometimes, the best solutions come from listening to others who may see something you've missed. Highly effective people know they don't have all the answers, so they remain receptive to new ideas and alternative solutions. This openness not only enhances problem solving, but also strengthens their relationships and builds a network of support. Next, The sixth habit of highly effective people is accountability. Highly effective individuals take responsibility for their actions, outcomes, and choices. They don't point fingers or look for excuses when things don't go as planned. Instead, they ask themselves, what could I have done differently? Accountability is a powerful habit because it keeps them focused on what they can control rather than dwelling on external factors. This habit isn't about self-blame, but rather about recognizing the role they play in their own success or lack of it, and continually learning from their experiences. Accountability gives people the power to grow. When you accept responsibility for your results, you gain the ability to change them. Effective people know that even though life has its share of unforeseen challenges, they always have a choice in how they respond. This mindset drives them to make constructive decisions, learn from their mistakes, and become more effective over time. They treat each setback as a learning opportunity, adjusting their approach and refining their strategies without falling into a pattern of self-pity or blame. Years ago, I knew a young entrepreneur who faced a difficult setback in his business. Instead of blaming the market, the economy, or his team, he sat down and did a thorough review of his decisions, his management style, and his strategy. He realized there were areas where he had been reactive instead of proactive, and others where he hadn't communicated effectively. Taking accountability, he made a plan to address these issues, implementing changes and adopting new strategies. In time, his business turned around, stronger than before. Accountability had given him the insights he needed to grow, turning what could have been a permanent setback into a stepping stone. Effective people are also accountable to others. They don't make promises they can't keep, and when they commit to something, they follow through. This level of accountability fosters trust and respect in their relationships, whether in business or in personal life. They know that their reputation depends on their reliability, and they go out of their way to uphold that reputation. When they make a mistake or fall short, they own up to it, apologize if necessary, and take steps to correct it. This transparency strengthens their relationships and reinforces their credibility. Part of accountability is setting clear expectations for yourself and those around you. Highly effective people set measurable goals and deadlines for their tasks, creating a standard by which they can evaluate their progress. They avoid vague commitments and make sure that they know exactly what they want to achieve and by when. This clarity makes it easier to assess whether they're meeting their own expectations and allows them to course correct if they're not. When they look at their goals, they ask themselves honestly, am I doing everything I can to achieve this? Another aspect of accountability is being honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses. Highly effective people don't pretend to be perfect, nor do they shy away from their areas of improvement. They take stock of their skills and identify where they might need to grow or seek help. By holding themselves accountable to a high standard, they constantly push themselves to improve. But they're also realistic about what they can and can't do alone. When they need support, they reach out, knowing that accountability also means recognizing when it's time to bring others in. Developing accountability starts with small actions. You can begin by setting daily goals for yourself and tracking your progress. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to review what you accomplished and where you fell short. Ask yourself what you could do differently tomorrow to be more effective. Over time, this practice becomes a habit, giving you greater control over your results. Another practical way to build accountability is to share your goals with someone you trust. When you make a commitment to another person, it adds a layer of responsibility. If you're working on a project or goal, give them regular updates on your progress. Knowing that someone else is watching can motivate you to stay on track and deliver on your promises. In time, this habit of accountability becomes second nature, reinforcing your commitment to achieving your goals. Next, the seventh habit of highly effective people is cultivating resilience. Highly effective people understand that setbacks, challenges, and obstacles are an inevitable part of life. They don't crumble at the first sign of trouble. Instead, they find ways to adapt, recover, and keep moving forward. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to face difficulties with courage, and to grow from the experience. Rather than avoiding discomfort or failure, effective people see these moments as opportunities to build inner strength, deepen their understanding, and sharpen their skills. Resilience starts with mindset. Highly effective people adopt a growth-oriented mindset, believing that they have the power to learn, change, and improve. When they encounter a setback, they don't see it as a sign that they're incapable. They see it as a chance to learn. This mindset allows them to view failure not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone toward their goals. It gives them the perspective to see challenges as temporary and the determination to find solutions. With resilience, every setback becomes a setup for a stronger comeback. Highly effective people know that resilience isn't about ignoring their emotions or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about facing reality, acknowledging the difficulty, and choosing to respond in a constructive way. They give themselves the space to process their emotions, but they don't dwell on negativity. Instead, they ask themselves constructive questions. What can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? This approach allows them to move through difficult emotions and emerge stronger on the other side. Resilience is also about flexibility. Life is unpredictable and things don't always go according to plan. Effective people know that being too rigid in their expectations can lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, they adapt to changing circumstances. They're willing to adjust their plans, try new approaches, and remain open to different perspectives. This flexibility allows them to navigate around obstacles and find solutions that might not have been visible initially. They understand that resilience is not just about enduring, it's about evolving. One practical way to cultivate resilience is through positive self-talk. When challenges arise, effective people avoid self-defeating thoughts. They speak to themselves in encouraging terms. They remind themselves of past victories, times when they've overcome difficulties, and the strengths they possess. This self-affirmation reinforces their belief in their ability to handle adversity, boosting their confidence and strengthening their resolve. And here's another thing. Highly effective people don't go through tough times alone. They surround themselves with positive, supportive individuals who lift them up and offer encouragement. Resilient people know the value of community, and they turn to others not as a sign of weakness, but as a strategy for strengthening themselves. Finally, resilient people practice self-care. They understand that physical and mental well-being are crucial for maintaining strength through tough times. They prioritize rest, exercise, and activities that recharge their energy. When they take care of their health, they're better equipped to handle stress, make clear decisions, and stay balanced, even in challenging situations. This habit of self-care fortifies their resilience, ensuring that they have the reserves they need to keep going when the road gets rough. To build resilience in your own life, start by viewing setbacks as opportunities for growth. When challenges arise, reflect on what you can learn and look for ways to adjust your approach. Embrace flexibility Remind yourself of your strengths and reach out to those who support you. Over time, this habit of resilience will become a source of confidence and stability, empowering you to face any obstacle with courage and optimism. Next, the eighth habit of highly effective people is cultivating a positive mindset. A positive mindset isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that everything is always perfect. It's about choosing to see opportunities where others might only see obstacles. Effective people understand that their thoughts shape their actions, and their actions shape their outcomes. By maintaining a positive outlook, they put themselves in the best position to succeed, even in challenging situations. Positivity fuels resilience, creativity, and productivity, making it an essential habit for anyone who wants to lead a successful and fulfilling life. A positive mindset allows highly effective people to approach problems with an open mind, ready to find solutions rather than focusing on limitations. When faced with a challenge, instead of thinking, "This is impossible," they ask, "How can I make this work?" This shift in thinking opens doors that others might miss. They know that every obstacle carries the potential for growth and learning. And by focusing on that potential, they maintain momentum rather than feeling defeated. Highly effective people also understand the power of gratitude. They take time to appreciate the good in their lives, both big and small. This practice of gratitude keeps their minds anchored in positivity, especially during difficult times. By acknowledging what's going well, they create a balanced perspective that helps them stay motivated. Effective people harness these benefits to maintain a positive outlook and foster a sense of well-being. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring problems or challenges. Effective people face reality head-on, but they choose to approach it with optimism. They focus on what they can control rather than worrying about what they can't. By concentrating on what's within their power, they take purposeful actions that move them closer to their goals. This mindset shift keeps them from feeling overwhelmed and empowers them to handle difficulties with confidence and clarity. Now, one of the most practical ways to cultivate a positive mindset is by being mindful of self-talk. Highly effective people pay attention to the way they speak to themselves, replacing negative, limiting thoughts with constructive, empowering ones. Instead of saying, "I'm just not good at this," they might say, "I'm getting better with practice." This habit of reframing thoughts builds self-belief and reduces self-doubt. Over time, positive self-talk becomes second nature, making it easier to stay optimistic and focused, even in challenging situations. Positive people also avoid toxic influences. They surround themselves with others who lift them up, who believe in their potential, and who inspire them to be their best selves. Effective people know that negativity is contagious, so they seek out relationships and environments that reinforce their positive outlook. When they do encounter negativity, whether from people, situations, or even within themselves, they consciously choose not to let it affect them. They remind themselves of their values, their goals, and their vision, keeping their focus on what truly matters. Highly effective people also make time for activities that bring them joy and recharge their energy. This might be a hobby, spending time with family, or pursuing a passion project. These positive experiences act as fuel, providing the emotional energy they need to stay engaged and motivated. They understand that a well-rounded, joyful life creates a foundation for positivity, making it easier to approach each day with a sense of optimism and purpose. To build a positive mindset in your own life, start by paying attention to the way you talk to yourself. To build a positive mindset in your own life, start by paying attention to the way you talk to yourself. Replace limiting beliefs with encouraging, empowering ones, and make gratitude a daily practice. Take a few minutes each day to list 3 things you're grateful for, and notice how this simple exercise shifts your mood and perspective. Surround yourself with positive influences and focus on the things that bring you joy. Over time, this habit will strengthen your resilience and give you a solid foundation for achieving your goals. Next, the ninth habit of highly effective people is effective time management. Time is a resource that once spent can't be reclaimed. Highly effective individuals understand this deeply, which is why they prioritize managing their time with intention and purpose. Rather than letting each day slip by in a blur of activity, they set clear priorities, create plans, and make the most of every moment. Effective time management isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things, those activities that contribute directly to their goals and values. One of the cornerstones of effective time management is planning. Highly effective people plan their weeks, days, and even hours with purpose. They create to-do lists, set deadlines, and block out dedicated time for their most important tasks. Planning helps them avoid the trap of procrastination, as each action has a time and place in their schedule. Effective people also know the value of saying no. They recognize that time is limited and that every yes to one thing is a no to something else. They don't feel compelled to accept every invitation, project, or responsibility. Instead, they evaluate each opportunity based on how it aligns with their goals and values. When something doesn't fit, they respectfully decline. This selective approach frees them to focus on the things that matter most, allowing them to achieve deeper, more meaningful results without spreading themselves too thin. Time management also requires flexibility. Even the best plans can be disrupted, and highly effective people adapt to changing circumstances with ease. When unexpected situations arise, they reevaluate their priorities, adjust their plans, and continue forward without losing momentum. This adaptability keeps them from feeling frustrated or overwhelmed when things don't go as expected, allowing them to stay focused on what they can control. Effective time managers also recognize the importance of breaks and downtime. They understand that productivity doesn't mean working nonstop. In fact, taking regular breaks improves focus, creativity, and decision-making. These moments of rest allow them to recharge and return to their work with renewed energy. They balance periods of intense focus with time to relax, ensuring sustainable productivity and preventing burnout. Finally, highly effective people review their time management practices regularly. They evaluate how they're spending their time, identifying any activities or habits that may be wasting valuable hours. If they notice they're spending too much time on low-priority tasks, they make adjustments. This regular reflection helps them stay aligned with their goals and refine their approach to managing time. Start by identifying your top priorities each day and create a plan to accomplish them. Use tools like time blocking to focus on key tasks and be willing to say no to commitments that don't align with your goals. Build in time for breaks and take time each week to review your progress and adjust your approach as needed. Over time, this habit will empower you to make the most of each day, moving you closer to your long-term vision. Next, the 10th habit of highly effective people is practicing empathy and understanding. Highly effective individuals know that relationships are the foundation of success, and the strength of these relationships often hinges on their ability to understand and connect with others. Empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, allows them to build trust, foster cooperation, and create an environment of mutual respect. It's not just about listening to others. It's about truly hearing them, valuing their perspectives, and showing genuine care. This approach to empathy and understanding makes them not only effective, but also deeply influential in their interactions. Empathy begins with active listening. Highly effective people don't just wait for their turn to speak. They listen with intent. They focus on what the other person is saying, resisting the urge to interrupt or think about their response while the other person is talking. By giving their full attention, they show respect and make the other person feel valued. This active listening allows them to gain insight into the thoughts, emotions, and motivations of others, leading to a deeper understanding. Empathy doesn't mean always agreeing with others, but it does mean acknowledging and respecting their feelings and viewpoints. Highly effective people approach disagreements with an open mind, seeking to understand where the other person is coming from. Instead of dismissing or arguing, they ask questions, show curiosity, and try to see the issue from the other person's perspective. The benefits of empathy extend beyond personal relationships. They're crucial in professional settings as well. When effective leaders practice empathy, employees are more engaged, productive, and loyal when they know their leaders genuinely care about their well-being. Another key aspect of empathy is patience. Highly effective people understand that everyone has their own journey, challenges, and pace of growth. They don't rush to judge or impose their expectations on others. Instead, they offer encouragement, support, and understanding. By recognizing the unique struggles and strengths of those around them, they foster an environment where everyone feels empowered to grow and contribute in their own way. Developing empathy begins with small, intentional acts. Start by making a conscious effort to listen fully in each conversation, setting aside distractions, and giving the other person your undivided attention. Practice asking open-ended questions to understand their perspective better and respond with kindness, even when you don't fully agree. Over time, this habit of empathy will become second nature, enriching your relationships and expanding your influence. Highly effective people know that empathy is not a weakness, but a strength. It's what allows them to build trust, inspire loyalty, and create meaningful connections. When empathy is woven into every interaction, it becomes a powerful force that multiplies effectiveness in both personal and professional life. And there you have it, 10 powerful habits that shape the lives of highly effective people. These habits are not just routines or one-time actions. They're guiding principles that create a strong foundation for success, resilience, and fulfillment. Each habit contributes to the kind of life that doesn't just happen by chance, but is built with intention and purpose. Imagine for a moment what your life could look like if these habits were fully integrated into your own daily routine. Picture yourself waking up each day with a clear purpose, knowing exactly what you want to achieve and why it matters. The beautiful thing about these habits is that they aren't reserved for a select few. They are available to anyone willing to put in the work, make the commitment, and take small steps every day. Success, after all, is not a destination, but a journey. It's the cumulative effect of daily choices, actions, and habits that shape who you become over time. So I invite you to start where you are with the resources and time you have right now. Choose one habit that resonates with you and commit to working on it each day. Focus on integrating one habit at a time. And as it becomes part of who you are, move on to the next. As these habits take root in your life, you'll begin to notice a shift, not just in your achievements, but in your mindset, your relationships, and your overall sense of purpose. You'll find that challenges no longer feel as overwhelming, that setbacks become opportunities for growth, and that every day becomes a chance to make progress toward the life you envision. Remember, the path to effectiveness is a lifelong journey. There will be moments when you stumble, times when old habits resurface or motivation wanes. But each time you refocus, each time you return to these guiding principles, you strengthen your foundation and move one step closer to the life you're working toward. These 10 habits are the tools that build not only success, but character, resilience, and a lasting legacy. May they inspire you, guide you, and empower you to create a life of effectiveness and fulfillment. The journey starts with a single step, and with these habits in place, each step will take you further than you ever thought possible. So get started. The rest of your story is waiting to be written, one effective habit at a time.